And welcome to the podcast, everybody. For the well, first of all, Happy New Year's to everybody. Even though I'm actually recording this a few days before New Year's, but still Happy New Year's. I'm gonna do something I don't do, and again, it's normally because I never have time or can never be consistent when it comes to the podcast. But I'm gonna try to do something that I've been trying to do since day one. Just never had a chance to do. So I'm gonna do top 5 favorite films of 2025. I could have done a top 10. I don't think I've seen enough movies to actually make a top 10. And if I did, then it would just be by default. Basically, because I haven't seen a lot of movies this year. I might have seen 10 good ones, but again, by default, it would only have to be those 10. I feel like I wish I seen a more broader amount of films than what I've seen this year. So I had to watch a couple of films that I've missed throughout the year that made its way to the streaming service, and some of them were really good. And then one of them that actually made it to the top 5, I kind of wish I saw in theaters. Well, 2 of the films that are in the top 5, I did see on the streaming platform, and then the other 3 I saw in theaters. And my number 1 I mainly saw in theaters. The reason why I say mainly is because I see people watch this movie on the streaming platform when I'm in the room or something. But I could have watched it with them, but I feel like I would have overused the amount of times I would have watched my number 1. But I'll definitely get to what will be my number 1. But I do want to give it at least a couple of honorable mentions, because at least with these honorable mentions, I would have put in as a top 10, even if, they would have been in the top 10 if I chose to do a top 10, but it's not a top 10, it's a top 5. One of the honorable mentions, I know some people are not going to like, but that's the thing about top favorite films of the year or in general, is that it's all opinionated, it's never factual, and it's just basically everybody agrees or disagrees on what could be the best film of the year, best film of the decade, or of all time. But mostly this is basically my favorite of what were the films that I really, really loved this year. The top 5 films. What is the one thing that would make it to my personal top 5? This isn't I'm agreeing with every other platform that says this is the best film of the year and stuff like that. This is just my personal opinion. Here are going to be my honorable mentions. I'll give it a brief thoughts about them during when I'm mentioning them, and then one of the honorable mentions I'm definitely gonna give a deep dive into as to why it's in the honorable mention, probably in the top 10, from around 6 to 10. If I did a 6 to 10 rank, it's somewhere, it could be around 7th or 6th place for me. But some of my honorable mentions I'm gonna give are Zootopia 2. I like Zootopia 2. I didn't think it was, in my personal opinion, I didn't think it was better than the first movie. That doesn't mean the storyline and the concept and all that wasn't good. It was actually really, really good. And then you get more dynamics of Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde. Yeah, and then you have a lot of good callback references in Zootopia 2, obviously the big one being The Shining, which stood out to everybody the most. Yeah, I really enjoyed Zootopia 2. Frankenstein I also enjoyed. I didn't love Frankenstein as much as I wanted to. Guillermo del Toro is literally all over this film, and it shows. And the performances, specifically of Jacob Elordi, I really hope he gets an Oscar nomination for this one. It's a tough category. It's supposedly between him and Adam Sandler for what's that movie called? Jake Kelly. I haven't seen Jake Kelly. I might watch it eventually, but it's between him and Sandler, Jacob Elordi. The effects are really cool. The makeup, the costume design, the set decoration. I can see this winning the production design Oscar, and maybe the costume design Oscar wins. I don't see, as much as I like this movie, I don't see Guillermo del Toro for sure getting a Best Director nomination, even though some of the early precursors to the Oscars are giving him the Best Director nominations. You never know with the Academy, they could snub him. He probably can. It's just it wouldn't affect me if he didn't get the Best Director nomination. He already has a win for The Shape of Water. He has 2 wins for The Shape of Water, and as well as for Pinocchio, which a lot of people forget about. But yeah, Frankenstein is one of the honorable mentions there. Companion, which in the beginning I thought that was Zach Cregger's next film because the marketing was from the creators of Barbarian. But no, Companion. I saw Companion twice, first in theaters and then what was the other one? And then I saw it on Max. I mean the directing and the screenwriting and the performances of I forgot Sophie Turner. No, is it Sophie Turner? Or no, Sophie Thatcher. That's who it is. That was a great performance from her. And then I almost said Randy Quaid. That's his uncle, but Jack Quaid really makes a good performance as a villain. Or just, oh man, I wouldn't even say a villain. Like he is a villain, but he's a petty villain. That's what I was gonna say. He's a very petty villain. But yeah, Companion's also in my honorable mention. What else is in my honorable mention? Thunderbolts. I like Thunderbolts. I kind of talked about a little bit around the beginning of the season. It was a really good superhero film. Thunderbolts is in my honorable mention, and now let's get to the one that's gonna upset some folks. But the other film that's gonna be in my honorable mention is it's One Battle After Another. I kind of mentioned it in the past, like in one recent episode, but I didn't love One Battle After Another as a lot of y'all did. And that's mostly because of like too much of the politics in the film. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of things that are really great. There are like a lot of things that are actually like very stand out. The directing is very stands out. The cinematography, the score. What was it? Sean Penn's performance was very captivating, and I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he wins the Oscar for Best Director. I mean, not Best Director, Best Supporting Actor. But also PTA might win his first. PTA, that stands for Paul Thomas Anderson, for those that don't know. But yeah, it looks like Paul Thomas Anderson is going to win his first Oscar for director, which I would say well deserved. Well, I wouldn't say well deserved. I mean, he's been overdue. He hasn't gotten an Oscar at all. He's been nominated multiple times. He's just never won. The only film I wish he won for was, and that would probably just be for screenplay, was There Will Be Blood. But that was the same year as No Country for Old Men that won the big Oscars for best director, picture, supporting actor, and screenplay. But I wouldn't mind if at that time. I mean, I haven't seen the Oscars at that time, but if PTA had beaten out the Coen brothers for best adapted screenplay for There Will Be Blood, then I would have preferred that. But then I kind of also wish he was nominated for best original screenplay for The Master. I really love The Master. That's actually my favorite film of his. But yeah, no, One Battle After Another is just it's not the movie for me. Like I said, there's a lot of good elements about that. I was just not on the hype train as everybody else, but that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy the movie. I really enjoyed it. It's just when I see all the other films that came out this year, and I know One Battle After Another stood out to a lot of y'all, and that's not denying it, because I know a lot of people really loved it. And unfortunately, I'm not one of those people. So, yeah, if it was a top 10, One Battle After Another would have been in 6th or 7th place for me. No doubt it's gonna win any, and no doubt it's not gonna win any of like the big, big awards for the Academy Awards for like picture or director and stuff like that. I'm conflicted, and I'm gonna tell you why when I get to my number one. But yeah, pretty much like where I'm at was One Battle After Another. But yeah. That's pretty much what I have for my honorable mentions. I'm gonna go on break real quick, and then I'm gonna get to my top 5. So we're gonna go on break. Welcome back. One honorable mention I forgot to talk about was Final Destination Bloodlines. Yeah, that was just like, I know I kind of gave it a number one spot when I talked about like films I saw over the summer. That's just for nostalgia reasons because of Tony Todd. I met Tony Todd, like I mentioned in the past. I talked about meeting him, I would say a week before he passed away on one of my podcasts, which is why like if you ever go back to the earlier last seasons, I recorded those before he passed away. And so when I saw, I went to go watch it just because it was Tony Todd's last outing. But, the storyline and the character dynamics, that's pretty much it. Definitely one of my favorite Final Destination movies. And now that that's it with his character. It's like, I mean, at least I hope that's it. There's no way they can continue adding on with prequels involving William Bloodworth. You know, it won't be the same without Tony Todd. Just saying. But yeah, those are my honorable mentions. Some that didn't even make it to the top 5. I mean, yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna get to my top 5 now. And coming in at 5th place is going to be K-pop Demon Hunters. Now, for a guy that doesn't like K-pop music at all, like I actually can't stand K-pop music. My sisters and my mother, they really liked K-pop. They've gone to see BTS and C17, Stray Kids. I think that's another one of them. They've seen a bunch of them. Okay, I have not, and I kind of choose not to. So I was a bit hesitant to even watch the movie when it first came out. Again, was not a big K-pop guy. I'm still not after watching the movie. But Christmas break came, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch it just because I want to see what the hype is about. Boy, oh boy, I kind of wish I kind of watched it when it first came out, because, like, again, not a big K-pop guy. I'm also not a big anime guy either. I'm more of like different kinds of like animated films and stuff like that, but this is so different, and the storyline is really, really great. The characters are so likable, and then, you know, there's the one character, I think his name was, oh man, so let me go back to who the characters were, because I forgot the characters' names. Let's see, I keep forgetting the name. Nope, not this one. Anyway, as I'm looking for it, the animation's great. The storyline is incredible. Like, the music, again, not a big K-pop guy, but some of the music is actually really, really great, especially almost towards the end. Yes, Golden does get stuck in your head. One thing I've learned from a guy named Luke Hartfield, who is he's a British film reviewer, I guess you can call him, on YouTube. You should go check him out. Who's also very into the big Oscar world. He said never sing Golden at a karaoke because what's the word? You're gonna embarrass yourself because those notes go extremely high. But yeah, here it is. Jinu is one of those complicated villains, even though he's not a villain. You know what I mean? His backstory and his story arc, him and Rumi's story arc they work well. Like, you get, like, whoever wrote the movie knew what they were writing, because it's like in a world where, like, in a world where someone would tell you, hey, I'm gonna make an animated movie about K-pop stars that are demon slayers. Yeah, that wouldn't fly well to a lot of studios, but it took time for studios to be like, yeah, let's grow with this. And good thing it was all on Netflix, but now theatrical experience would have been I would say a lot better. But I mean, I didn't even know it had a theatrical release. The reason how I found out about the theatrical release is, it was the short time theatrical release, or the limited time theatrical release, was because this movie and it got the Golden Globe nomination for Best Box Office Achievement, which is a category I don't get why they have. They also, the Hollywood Foreign Press, who's in charge of the Golden Globes, decided to have a Best Podcast category. Hypocritical, but I mean, like, why would you have a podcast, category in a? It's like Best Box Office Achievement and Best Podcast are just a non-necessary award category for the Golden Globes, but that's just me. But yeah, no, the story arcs are great. The villain is very disturbing. I mean, like I said, not a big K-pop guy, but then when the intros happen, I was like, okay, I think I'm starting to get sold, and I lean to it a lot more and more. I mean, like, there's so much at stake. You get what I mean? Like, it's not the fact that they're like there's a reason why they're called K-pop. It's a K-pop group. One, it's very popular in Korea, and two, it's basically like within, I guess, a Korean folklore. I haven't dove too deep into it, but it's also like, if it's like the power of women that controls the Hondu or whatever it was that shields the world from, like, the demonic forces with the power of their music. It makes sense with modern time. That's a thing about the writing I liked, is that it kept with, like, the time. So it's like, if it was a 70s Korean group, that could have been like, I don't know if there was disco in Korea during the 70s, but it could have been that. Again, it just depends. And it always gets sappy with the power of friendship, kind of deal. Same thing was why, like, Thunderbolts hasn't made it to the top 5. It's something because of that. But in all honesty, I mean, like, this one actually worked well. And like again, Sunju, who's the way his arc came to a conclusion, saying like, you know, you restored my soul, because you know, like his story was he abandoned his family for fame and he suffered the consequences for it, and he wanted to forget about the pain he caused, but in the end, he's like, you know, the human in him still stood out. And I would say, man, that dragged me. That really dragged me into the movie a lot more and more. There might be a second film. I don't know. I do see that happening. But for best animated feature, that's in the bag. I think K-pop Demon Hunter is gonna win, and deservedly so. But yeah, that's my number 5 is K-pop Demon Hunter. I'm gonna go to my number 4. My number 4, and I juggle with this back and forth for my number 4 and my number 3 spot. But for now, my number 4 spot is F1, mostly because I just saw that not too long ago. My only bad thing about F1, I'll say, is that I didn't get to see it in theaters, and if I did, it would have been my number 1 summer film. It would have been. But anyway, what can I say about F1? First of all, shame on you, Watch Mojo, for not even including it in your top 20 best films, and like not even top 20. It was in 21st place, because if it was, there's something wrong with y'all, because F1 is a really great film. And yeah, first of all, the directing, I didn't know the same director for this film was the same director for Top Gun Maverick, which I still haven't seen, not even the original, but I'm pretty sure what people told me is if you watch Top Gun Maverick, you get the same feeling as that was from F1. And because as far as I know, Top Gun Maverick really puts you into the seats of the airmen. And that's the same thing here in F1, where it really puts you in the seats of the people that are driving these race cars. I would say this is my favorite race car film of all time. And that's not saying much, because I don't really like race car films, mostly because I don't really like race car, events at all. Like not NASCAR or the Indy 500 or the Formula One, which is where it's the type of race the movie takes place. But yeah. First of all, the acting from Brad Pitt, I love. The acting from who is it? Give me a second. Okay, the acting from Damson Idris was also really, really cool. I know when Oscar season comes, because it's this movie is gonna, I hope this movie at least gets a good technical nomination, but I know it's not gonna get Best Picture, Best Director and stuff like that. I know the Academy at this point. I know what they would nominate and they would not nominate for Best Picture or Director and stuff like that, because most like non-Best Picture nominated films can get up to 4 or 5 nominations that don't include Best Picture. The most 4. All right. I think some films have gotten 5. I know The Dark Knight got 8 nominations, all technical categories, and not even a Best Picture or Best Director nomination for Nolan. But, yeah. But, I mean, the cinematography is really, really good. Again, it puts you at the seat of who was it? It was Sonny Hayes and Jacob Pierce or Joseph Pierce. No, who was it? Joshua Pierce. There you go. Putting you in the seat of Sonny Hayes and Joshua Pierce, the characters that were played by Brad Pitt and Damson Idris. I have a hard time pronouncing that name, but it was really, really cool, and I see like the physicality of what race car drivers have to go through. It's a lot of mental game. I've been developing a lot of like claustrophobia within like the last year, and I couldn't imagine like having because those race car suits look heavy, and I'm pretty sure they are heavy. And then combined with a helmet, and then combine that you're in a tight spot in a race car. And apparently those race cars, you really have to have full control and strength of the wheel, because you're going hundreds of miles an hour, and they're built differently. So I guess all I can say is that I'm eating my words when I say NASCAR or the Indy 500 or any race car event isn't a real sport. I'm eating my words because I think it is a real sport. But yeah, the film editing is great. I mean, if it was to win any Oscars, film editing's definitely got to be the winner. I'm torn. The reason being is because like my next favorite film after this one when I go on break might also have a chance of winning best film editing. Assuming one battle after another doesn't take the win. But yeah, the film editing is great. And if not the film editing, then maybe the score, but that's a high hope. The score is phenomenal. It definitely is. Hans Zimmer, I really hope gets nominated for best score. If he wins, that would be great, but I don't know, because it would be up against Sinners and One Battle After Another, which both have been winning their music categories and a lot of critics prizes and stuff like that. So again, guys, remember I'm recording this like before the Golden Globes and stuff like that. So the Oscar nominations haven't come out yet. So if people are listening to this past Oscar nominations, just remember I'm recording this before award season's even started. But I really, really hope that it gets its something. And then the other category I would actually see it get is best sound. The sound is also phenomenal. I mean, it's like, again, like how like people communicate with each other through intercoms and stuff like that, through I wouldn't say telephones, like headphones and stuff like that. Like that sound, that's how it really, really sounds. And it could sound a little bit faint because remember, I mean, like I said, you're in the seat of the race car, so assuming that you're going thousands of miles an hour or stuff like that, it's probably gonna get loud. You get what I mean? Like it probably does get loud. If anybody does like do race car driving, can you actually confirm how loud it can actually get in a race car? 'Cause I can imagine like all that could just be really, really loud in there. But yeah, sound is definitely there. So cinematography, sound, score, film editing. Yeah, all of that could happen. I mean, at least give it editing, sound, and score. You get what I mean? Cinematography would be a really, really great. That's about, yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be too far off because like, you know, Top Gun Maverick won best sound. And I'm assuming it's the same sound designers that are in F1 that did Top Gun Maverick. But yeah, no, F1 was such a great experience. I wish I saw that in the theaters. I honestly do, because I think I would have had a lot more funner experience. I mean, just like seeing that on the big screen, seeing it in IMAX would have been like major. You get what I mean? I really... Again, I wish I saw it in theaters, guys. That's my biggest regret, not seeing it in theaters, but my budget wouldn't let me. Yeah. It was great. Well, after I watched it, I was watching the media nights. If y'all don't know what the media nights are, they're a couple that watches movies. Like that's pretty much like people who watch movies and they react to it for the first time. You know, when I saw them watching it, they knew a lot about Formula One and race car driving because I did not know this. They apparently grew up in Europe. Zari and Denise, those are the couples. But I heard they grew up in Europe. I was like, oh really? Wow, I did not know that. So they knew a lot about race car driving, but like it's like that tenseness. You get what I mean? The tense, that feeling you get where like, can you even breathe for a moment? You get what I mean? Like, what really drew me was when JP, that's what Joshua Pierce is called in the movie JP by Sonny Hayes. When he gets into that accident, that's when I'm like jaw drop, like, oh my gosh, like this movie's it's just getting you, man. And then more and more and more unfold, and you're like, man, like at the end of the movie, you just get a sigh of relief when Sonny Hayes passes through that finish line. It's like, oh gosh, like you can breathe. You get what I mean? Because believe it or not, like you expected JP to actually win. Because even in the beginning, you're probably like Sonny's gonna win. Because that's how most of these films are. And at the end, you kind of like tell it to yourself that JP is going to win it all and Sonny is just going to be happy because all he cares about is getting the team, not him specifically, getting the team to win, whether if it was him or JP crossing that finish line. And he wanted JP to cross that finish line, but JP, you know, taught a sacrifice, and it says the moment is yours, Sonny, go for it. But yeah, man, Brad Pitt, for a guy in his 60s, like he's in his 60s. Him and Tom Cruise are in their 60s. Man, he's still good looking with a six pack and everything. I'm not gonna lie. All right. Yeah. So Academy, you got to give this film some good nominations. And if you know, I wouldn't mind if y'all gave it a win. Sound will be perfect. Score would be exceptional. And if you gave it best picture, you know, maybe, I don't know how to bribe folks, but yeah, give it some best picture. But you know, I don't know if it can. I'll be surprised if it did. But a best picture, I mean, not best picture, but a best sound win would be phenomenal. I'm not holding my breath on it. It might just get 3 or 4 nominations and no wins. That tends to be the case with certain films, but because it's really, really rare for non-best picture contending movies to win the Oscar against films that are in the best picture race. So if it's like, you know, if for best sound, it really, really has to, you know, pull a Hail Mary, which is funny because that's a line in the movie, to pull a Hail Mary to beat out like whatever movies would get nominated for best sound. So probably like One Battle After Another. which probably could take the win. Even Sinners could probably get nominated for that, but who knows where it goes from there. But yeah, just to, I forgot what the word is, but just to jog your memory, K-pop Demon Hunter, number 5, F1, number 4. And we're going to go on break. Alright guys, welcome back. Now we're going to talk about my number 3 and my number 2 spots in my top 5 favorite films of 2025. Alright, so what is in my my third spot? My third spot is a movie I also did see recently, and I really want to watch this movie again because it gave me chills. And that movie is Marty Supreme. I have yet to see the other Safdie movie, which was The Smashing Machine. But for those that don't know, the Safdie brothers, Benny and Josh Safdie, they direct movies together. Not in the beginning, but eventually in their career, they directed a couple of movies together. The most recent from them was Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler. Which, if you haven't seen Uncut Gems, be prepared, because that's tense right there. Like, there's a lot of tenseness, and that carries out in Marty Supreme. I haven't seen The Smashing Machine, so I don't know if that tenseness is in there, but I don't think it is. But then again, I think it's like either Benny's or Josh's like first biographical film. It just depends. But Marty Supreme, man, maybe Josh Safdie will get the Best Director nomination because it was really, really good and I enjoyed it. It's like you're like on the edge of your seat, because I remember when I saw Uncut Gems. When I saw Uncut Gems, I was so stressed out. Again, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. But it's stressful, because when one character does something, it just creates this domino effect that gets worse and worse and worse, and you just don't have a moment to breathe. And even when you do have moments to breathe, you're not really having a time breathing either. So first things first, Timothée Chalamet, he's coming for his Oscar. He's already been nominated twice for Call Me By Your Name. And then recently was, what is it called? A Complete Unknown, which I had seen, I think back in the summer. Or maybe after the summer, I don't remember. But I do remember seeing that not too long ago. But yeah, Timmy's coming for that Oscar. Apparently he's under some controversy. I looked at what the things he's been saying and stuff like that. I don't think it's controversial. He's just basically saying like this is his best film that he's done. Like maybe he does have some egos, probably that. But I don't think what he's been saying and stuff is controversial. I mean, it's not like Carla Sofia Gascon, what happened to her this year. Well, I mean, then again, this was stuff that she said like in the past when I guess like when it was a guy, when she was a he at one point. But Timothée Chalamet, he's gonna win his Oscar. And if he doesn't win, at least he should get nominated. But his performance is so great. Just because like the character has this ego of like, I want to be the best. I almost did the Pokemon theme song. That's pretty much what it is. It's like, I want to be the very best that no one ever can, because all that stress doesn't happen until like, I would say like after the first 40 minutes of the movie. Because within the first like 40 minutes of the movie, he's just like it's all basically character introduction, what he likes to do, which is play tennis, or not tennis, table tennis, but ping pong is what it's called. And then like eventually you just like see like how shit hits the fan pretty much. How like he in the movie he gets this girl pregnant. And when he comes back from London from competing for in a table tennis tournament, which he came in second, he sees that this married woman that he's been seeing got pregnant, and he's denying like, that's not my kid, you get what I mean? And it's just stuff like he's trying to avoid talking to his family from his mom, that's played by Fran Drescher, which, man, Fran Drescher doing a dramatic role, that is very interesting. And just like the way she performs it too, it's very minimal, like it's like maybe 3 minutes of screen time, but still a great performance. I mean, she's known for doing comedies. Fran Drescher did The Nanny many years ago. I think that's how she actually got her start. And then I can't pronounce her full name, Odessa Avion or something like that. She did pretty well as well. Good. But no, everybody did pretty good in this film. Obviously, Timothy was the big standout. He was there pretty much 95% of the movie. The only times I've ever seen him that's like that he's not on screen is like when I forgot, like I would say when the girlfriend is confronting her husband that she's not pregnant with his child, it's Marty's child, and then when she's also trying to confront this dude that Marty's accidentally, I wouldn't say stole his dog, but like if you've seen the movie you get what I mean. And that scene with the dog, dude, that's just like gets to you because there's just so much you don't expect from you don't expect in this film. You expect something to like pop out. You get what I mean? You expect something that's just gonna not make you feel good. And it just like overly what's the word I'm looking for? It surpasses your expectation in a good way. And like I said, you hardly breathe. And the moments you can breathe, you're just not breathing. And the story, the screenwriting is good. The story is great. You know, it's about being eagles and stuff like that. And Marty just comes off as a douchebag. Like he's not likable. And I think that is the thing with like, a lot of Safdie brother films. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure like that's most of like their main characters. Like when I saw Adam Sandler's character in Uncut Gems, I was like, dude, this guy is like pretty unlikable. But you're also rooting for him because like he's in this dangerous situation. I mean, luckily for all of us, like if we've seen Marty Supreme, it doesn't end like how Uncut Gems ends, because Uncut Gems, dude, what my friend Mo would say is that's the biggest FU anybody's ever gotten. If you've seen Uncut Gems, it just leaves on a happy note, you know? And like the ending of like, all of this, same thing with F1, by the way. It makes you feel like it's an actual sporting event than like it makes you feel like an actual sporting event than it's a movie. You get what I mean? Like, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like you're watching this on like ESPN on a big screen. And I'm always like, why is it like the big sport movies, like basketball movies, baseball movies, maybe soccer, but football movies? I'm never really attracted to those kinds of movies. But the lesser like known sporting films like race car driving and ping pong or table tennis, why am I attracted to those? Maybe it's because they're not really like, you know, people don't see them as sports, I guess you can say. I mean, have you seen the way like the Asians play it in the Olympics? They're like 20 feet away from the table, and they're still making those hits, which is pretty much what's shown in Marty Supreme. I mean, the ending, when he wants that rematch with Endo, I think that's what his name is. That was very oh man, that was very like that was like you're rooting for Marty, you get what I mean? Even though you know what the outcome is, because he kind of ruined his chances to ever get back to the US and stuff like that. But he just like, you're just rooting for him to win at least, because that's what he wants. He wants to win. And yeah, I don't think Endo's I don't think Japan's gonna love Endo anymore after that win, or after that loss for him, because like for a competitor, man, what's the word I'm looking for? For a competitor that is beating out somebody in their, okay, hold on, let me try to say this. For a competitor in like a one-on-one sporting event like wrestling, ping pong, boxing, when you're fighting someone and they beat you on your own turf in front of your entire country, that's not a good look on you. But I mean, who knows? Because even Marty says like, I hope you win, or good luck with this, the next table tennis tournament. It does give you an emotional level. I mean, it gets you on an emotional level is what I meant to say. Especially like, again, the last 10 minutes, like after the match is over and he sees his son for the first time. It's like, dang, okay, yeah. But the editing is also great, which is why I said like film editing, this movie could win it. Again, assuming one battle after another doesn't take it, Marty Supreme could win Best Film Editing. Timothée Chalamet, I mean, again, probably might win the Oscar for Best Actor, because I think he nailed it. I mean, I have to see some of the other like films that could qualify the Best Actor award. Again, the Oscar nominations haven't happened yet, but that doesn't mean like Timothée Chalamet, no doubt, is not going to get nominated. He's going to get that nomination and he's going to win. But let's see how like the Golden Globe goes and stuff like that. But Marty Supreme, my number 3. Number 2, and this was also number 2 when I did my like my favorite kind of summer films. But after rewatching some evaluations without nostalgia, number 2 is Weapons. Weapons is also another great horror film. Some of my favorite films this year were horror films. Like if it was that, Weapons would still be my number 2 favorite horror film. Number 3 favorite horror film, obviously Final Destination, Bloodlines, and Together. I mentioned Together in the what was it in the, what's the word I'm looking for? Honorable mention, but Together is an honorable mention. It's a really great film. I mentioned it in the past, but Weapons, I loved. I've been open and honest about how I felt about Barbarian. I've never really liked Barbarian. I know a lot of people did, and I'm just not one of them. I understand it. Like the filmmaking and the writing aspect of it, I respect from Zach Kreger, which is, I mean, like I said, I thought Companion was Zach Kreger's next film, but he's just, I think, one of the producers and stuff like that. I think he's just one of the producers, but Weapons, I love the storyline, the filmmaking of all of it more, especially like the not a social commentary, it's more like a semi-biographical film for Zach Kreger. And I'll explain it, but yeah, no, like I would have loved Barbarians. It's just that when you get to the mother character, I can't stand inbred incest stuff, and like her, it was hard to look at, and it was just so much of that I just couldn't stand by it. And that's why I couldn't stand those Barbarian, just because of that. Even though, yes, it does have some creativeness and some great storytelling and some great directing, but sometimes certain things can just draw me away from the film. This one does not. Weapons draws me a lot closer. And first of all, Amy Madigan, I hope she gets the Oscar nomination, which no doubt she will, or no doubt she won't. And if she does, I'm pretty sure she's winning that. She's winning that Oscar, all right? Horror's been making a comeback at the Oscars within the last year. That's why I'm going to mention another one pretty soon. But Amy Madigan, I hope, gets that Oscar win. Who knows? Again, it's too early to tell. None of the precursors have happened yet when I'm recording this. This will be out before the Golden Globes ever gets released, or before the Golden Globes happen, but I'm pretty sure Amy Madigan's winning. She's very like haunting in the movie and like very despicable. It's like I feel like if Sean Penn and Amy Madigan win the supporting categories, it's pretty much gonna be like what is it? Like the best supporting winners are like the villains, which I don't mind. I mean, I like the best supporting acting categories a lot more than the lead acting categories. Like some of my favorite performances won those awards, like Monique and J.K. Simmons and Heath Ledger, Javier Bardem. Who else got the best supporting actress win? And this is hard. Maybe I do like the supporting actor wins, but I know Monique was a great win. Oh man, I'm trying to think who else was a really good. Anne Hathaway, I also enjoy. So then Lupita Nyong'o. But yeah, Amy Madigan might be my, if she wins, she would be my number one favorite supporting actress win of the decade so far. But everything's too soon to tell, and I don't want to jinx it too much by talking about it. But the reason why I started getting closer to Weapons is because not everything has a meaning, and even Zach Kreger mentioned it, which is why I kind of liked it, because like I said, not everything needs a meaning of stuff like that. The one thing, and what I mean by a semi-biographical film, the one thing I do love about Weapons was Zach Kreger has talked about how when he was little, when his father got introduced to alcohol and started becoming an alcoholic, it changed his life. It's pretty much like the little boy Alex so Aunt Agnes, the character of Aunt Agnes is supposed to be a reference to alcohol. All right. So when alcohol is first introduced into the family, his parents that were there are no longer there. They're controlled by Aunt Agnes, as Zach Kreger's parents, specifically his dad, was controlled by alcohol. And at whatever age he was, probably like 8 years old, he had to learn how to be an adult, like actually feed and cook for himself. And that's why I was drawn to Weapons a lot more, is that he put something of him in there, which is what I appreciate from a director. And like I said, like I love it when a film, like none of these films are very, very political. Like maybe my upcoming number one, but they're not really like political, or at least like any politics or whatever. They're just basically like storytelling, which is why they're my top 5. Same thing with Weapons. I mean, like it's basically like, when a kid is affected by something that just, it's like he goes to school and everything seems fine in front of the teacher, even though he's trying to hide something. And then when he goes home, it's so dark and bleak, and then like, a lot of people were thrown off by like the storytelling of like, it goes from, who was it? I forgot the teacher's name, but it goes from the teacher to Archer, which is one of the dads, played by Josh Brolin, to Paul. You get what I mean? Like how all these stories connect. It's almost like, like Reservoir Dogs. If you've seen Reservoir Dogs, how everything got there, and how like a community, becomes savage when something happens and they just want to put the blame on somebody, when internally there's something in them that they blame themselves internally, but they want to put the blame on somebody else. And the teacher was an easier target. There was so much layers to Weapons I enjoyed, again, a lot more than Barbarians. And yeah, I mean, Zach Cregger, I hope gets the best original screenplay nomination. He's probably not going to win. That would be a surprise, but everything I really loved about Weapons. But yeah, Weapons, my number 2 spot. And I'll be back when I talk about my number 1. All right, I'm back. Here is my number 1 spot. My number 1 favorite film of 2025. And I am pretty sure this is nobody's surprise, but my number 1 spot is Sinners. I know, to a lot of people, Sinners is overrated. Well, I think One Battle After Another is overrated, so piss off. Because this is my favorite film of 2025, not yours, okay? But Sinners, I love Sinners. I know that, so something that's just a selfish thing for me to say, okay? So I want PTA to win an Oscar. And if he wins for One Battle After Another, I wouldn't be upset about it, because he's been long overdue. But deep in, like, down inside, I want Ryan Coogler to win Best Director. And it's not because, like, I really, really love the movie, which I do. I love this film. I'm going to get more in depth into it. The reason being is because it'll be 98 years of the Academy Awards. And a black filmmaker has not won Best Director. Within 98 years, majority of it, yes, was all white guys. And I'm not trying to talk like a liberal person, stuff like that. Like I said, I'm not a very political person. But within the 98 years of the Academy Awards, yes, majority of them were white folks, men and women. Even though I believe it was only just 2 white women, Catherine Bigelow, who was the first woman to ever win the Oscar, and Jane Campion for The Power of the Dogs. Yeah, we've had majority, white folks, 3 women, which along with Chloe Zhao, who was the second woman, she's also one of, I believe, 4 Asians to win Best Director, because it was Ang Lee, who won for Brokeback Mountain, and as well as The Life of Pi, and Bong Joon-ho, who won for Parasite. Chloe Zhao, which won next year, as I mentioned. She's also the second woman to win Best Director. And then one of the Daniel Kwan, I believe, who won for Everything Everywhere All at Once. We've had 3 Mexicans win Best Director, and they're all friends: Alfonso Cuarón, Guillermo del Toro, and Alejandro Iñárritu. And then I believe we've had some LGBTQ directors win Best Director. I'm pretty sure some of them, we've also had a few Jewish people, like Steven Spielberg's Jewish. They've won Best Director. And yeah, we've had 1 French winner for Best Director, which was Michel Hazanavicius for The Artist. To my point being, we've never had a black person ever won the Best Director award. I mean, the one that could have came close was Steve McQueen for 12 Years a Slave, but that was the year of Alfonso Cuarón for Gravity. And maybe if Gravity came out a different year instead of 2013 for 12 Years a Slave to win Best Picture, it could have won Best Director. Steve McQueen could have been the first black filmmaker to win. But so far, we've had John Turteltaub for Boys in the Hood, who was the first one to be nominated for Best Director. I believe also, who was it? Lee Daniels for Precious. Then, of course, Steve McQueen, Jordan Peele, and who was the other one? Spike Lee. They have been nominated for Best Director. I'm pretty sure it's another one that I might have forgotten, but we've never had a Best Director for a black guy or black girl, just depending on it. And when I saw Sinners, I was like, Ryan Coogler could be the first one. The issue is the movie came out in April. And I feel like even if like One Battle After Another and Sinners switch like release spots, I think like the outcome would still be the same. I think PTA would probably get the Best Director win. The thing is that like PTA hasn't won. He's been nominated multiple times. At this point, he'll be like nominated 12 times. If he gets a writing, directing, and producing nomination for One Battle After Another, same thing with Ryan Coogler for writing, directing, and producing for Sinners. It's like, it's conflicting for me, you know, because you can't chance in 2026. 2026, we got The Odyssey, we got Dune Part 3. I forgot what the name of the movie was with Steven Spielberg, but we got that. So it's like you can't really rely on like the 99th and the 100th Academy Awards to see if the black filmmaker is going to win, or You get what I mean? Like, you can't really chance that. To me, it would be a now or never situation. But in the end, like, if it doesn't happen, if Ryan Coogler doesn't win Best Director and it's Paul Thomas Anderson, then I'm not going to be upset about it, because both, PTA's been overdue, but Black filmmakers have been long overdue. There's two different narratives. There's the narrative of a great filmmaker who hasn't gotten an award yet, and then there's the narrative of making history. And it just depends. What does the Academy want more? Which narrative are they going to go for more? But that's all me. To my point, regardless, I love Sinners, and it's still my number one favorite film of 2025. The music is great. I'm surprised that the Golden Globes is nominated for Best Motion Picture Drama, which I think it should have been the Best Musical Comedy. It should be in the Best Musical Comedy category, but I think it would be too competitive with one battle after another. It might win. Hamnet, which is another film that I have not seen. Hamnet might take it. That's another Chloe Zhao film, but I don't know. Maybe it could win. It just depends on how the Golden Globes and the Critics' Choice and the British Academy Film and the Screen Act. It just depends on how the precursors take it. Because it varies. It all varies. Because I could see a universe where it's like PTA can win all his other awards in different precursors, but then come Oscar night, he ends up losing the Best Director award to Ryan Coogler. I can see it happen. It might not. I don't want to jinx it, but that's also just me being hopeful. But I hope PTA at least still gets, just like the Best Screenplay win for PTA just doesn't feel right. Even like him winning Best Picture also wouldn't feel right. Like, it has to be director. You get what I mean? Like, if it's a tie, that would be a miracle. But The Sinners, again, the music is great. I Lied to You is such a great song. I listened to a lot of the soundtrack within this past year. I saw this movie 3 times in theaters, and I loved it every time, especially the scene with I Lied to You, where like you get that one shot. I mean, again, that could take Best Cinematography. The woman, Autumn, I keep forgetting her last name. She could be the first female cinematographer to win that award. Everything just varies, but the production design is great. The storytelling is great. Ryan Coogler, I believe, will win the Best Original Screenplay. Like, I have no doubt in my mind. Everything else is such a great phenomenon. The acting from Michael B. Jordan playing 2 roles. Miles Catton, Haley Steinfeld, Wumi Masako, Jack O'Connell, Delroy Lindo. Everybody's just phenomenal in this film. And the lore is so captivating. It's just great. The ending scene, it just gets to you. How it's basically like Sammy gets old, but the music still stays with him and still feels the same. Oh man! And then Jack O'Connell's performance as Remick. I know I said Remnick in a previous episode, but it's Remick, of course. His performance is great. I wouldn't be surprised if they surprised him for Best Supporting Actor. He hasn't been competing, but if he got a Best Supporting Actor nomination surprise, I would be out of my seat. Same thing with Wumi Masako. I would love to see both of them. It might not happen, and I wouldn't be too mad about it either, because this year's just been very competitive for like the supporting categories. I know Michael B. Jordan's gonna get the Best Actor nomination, and yeah, I mean, it's such a great film. I really enjoy it. It's one of my favorite films of the 2020s. Probably number 3. Because my top 2 films, both are my top 2 for 2023, which is Godzilla -1 and Oppenheimer. But I'm definitely going to be talking about Sinners a lot because of the the awards are happening. And when I talk about the Oscars after it's over, definitely going to be talking a lot about Sinners. And probably one battle after another. But Sinners is always going to be my favorite of this year. Just the action is great. The suspense is great. Performances are great. The lore, the effects, the makeup, the costume design, the production design, the editing, the sound, everything about this movie is great. And I hope it even gets the best casting. I hope it wins the best casting award, because everybody works well together. But yes, so rounding it all off, number 5, K-pop Demon Hunters. Number 4, F1. Number 3, Marty Supreme. Number 2, Weapons. And my number 1 is Sinners. Those are my top 5. Maybe next year I get to do a top 10. But as always, you guys have a great night, day, morning, whenever you're listening to this. Signing off.